12 o'clock sharp. Let's get started. Number one, happy holidays. I know it's getting to the end of the year. We're going to talk about thinking like a millionaire and what that really looks like. And of course, we're going to pull this from what Gary has taught us from the Millionaire Real Estate Agent and dive into a little bit deeper, just a couple of those things. Are y'all good with that? Just shake your head. Yes. Yeah. Perfect. I love that. A lot of this. Okay. A lot of this. Kind of like doing a tie down, right? Hey, Jennifer, all the way from Boston. I love that. Hey, real quickly. My name is Scott Toombs. Just so in case, and why would you know me? I've been with Keller Williams for 18 years. I'm an operating partner of 2 offices. I launched my first Keller Williams when I was 34 years old. I'm now 38. I'm kidding. I'm 52, about to turn 53 this week. So I'm super excited about that. I've been a Bold coach for the last 10 years. I've been a regional director. I'm the director of Bold coaching for their growth. And super blessed, excited, and overwhelmingly energized about being a part of this company. So I'm glad we get to spend this time together. Hey, Selena, I saw you pop in there. I'm super excited to be a part of this this time. And this is going to be interactive. So you can interact with just like a head nod. You can come off and interact if you want to. We're going to leave some time for questions at the end. But let's jump in and get the most out of our 30 minutes. Are y'all good with that? So I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to ask for patience because we're going to go back and forth. I don't like to have the screen up all the time because it's real hard to see you guys. So I want to start off with thinking like a millionaire from the Millionaire Real Estate Agent. And again, if we truly understand that 90% of success is what? It's the way that we think. It's the way that we think. 90% of success is the way that we think. And that's why when you read anything Gary writes from the Millionaire Real Estate Agent, from Shift to Flip to the Millionaire Real Estate Investor, from the one thing, he always starts with the way that we think. And it's no different in the Millionaire Real Estate Agent. And again, I want you to understand that there's some foundational models and then there's some what? Some supportive. And what we're going to do is we're going to spend time on number 1 and 2. In 30 minutes, if we can knock those 2 things out, then I feel like we've gotten great value out of the time that we have together. But I want to go through all 9 of them right now. And this is directly from the Millionaire Real Estate Agent. Number 1 is we got to think powered by a big why. Okay. And a big why is different for a lot of people. A lot of times we compare our whys to others. And what I want you to understand that it is your why. Your why has got to be a propellant, something that gets you up to do things that maybe you wouldn't normally do, the things that help you step through that fear and move forward. The second thing is we got to think big goals and big models. And I find this is sometimes the most challenging. And we're going to do an exercise today really quickly when we get here that's going to help really understand that sometimes when we think we're thinking big, we're not. Okay, where does our mind think? Does it think in what's possible for us and goes, we don't ever really get out there and go like, maybe I'll run a 5K, not, hey, maybe I'll run a 200-mile race, right? So we're going to talk about this thinking big and then finding these big models to use. The third one is think value and customer service and experience. These are the foundational ones. Okay, these are the ones we've got to nail. We've got to think powered by a big why. We got to think big goals and use big models. We got to think value and customer service and experience. And I'll tell you why I love that word experience. People pay for experiences. People remember experiences. People refer experiences. They don't care what you say and what you do. It's how you make them feel. And experience is a feeling. Now, the supportive ones are we got to think competitively and strategically. And we're in a business, and that's what businesses do. They think competitively and strategically. They think action and accountability. Action and accountability. It's kind of interesting. Gary taught this formula one time, and it's super simple, and I love it. It's just mindset plus action equals outcome. And he's always like, if you want to change the outcome, you got to change the way you think and you got to change the actions that you're taking and you can change the outcome. So when we look at this think action, think accountability, everything we do, we've got to put into action. Number 6, and this is what I love, think talent, systems, and standards. Do you know, what do standards allow you to do? that is accountability. Like, we can't hold people accountable. What we can hold is a standard. And so when we go out, we find talent, we put systems in place, and we have standards that we hold, things work out really well. We got to think knowledge and skill. I mean, you guys already think that, or you wouldn't be on this call. How are we going to grow? How are we going to grow ourselves? Because if we grow, everything in our world grows. Okay. If you grow, your health grows. If you grow, your wealth grows. If you grow, your business grows. Your relationships grow. Your spirituality grows. So you're the main thing, knowledge and skills. Think persistence and resilience. That's a big one. How many of us, just by raising hand or not, have ever had a challenge with a transaction? Okay. Yeah. So we got to understand that this is a level playing field with absolutely unequaled opportunity based on if you're willing to keep going. Always say the model for success in real estate is super simple. In the end, don't quit. If you don't do that, you're going to eventually figure this out. And then number 9 is think profit. What is a business worth owning? Yeah, I'll give you a hint. It starts with a P and ends with profit ability. It's a profitable business, correct? It's a profitable business. So this is how, when you go to the Millionaire Real Estate Agent, this is what millionaires think like. This is what the agents that were interviewed in that book think. And I want us to go and just spend some time on those first 2. Are y'all good with that? I want us to think powered by a big why. And I love this. I love this slide. Have y'all seen this before? It comes from the one thing, and I believe in the one thing. It's just the one over here. It says purpose, priority, and productivity. And the reason why this is such a powerful slide in my mind is it is the simplicity of results. And what I mean by that is we go and we see people's outcomes. Yes or no? Like, have you ever seen somebody who's super healthy and fit, just ripped, right? Okay, that's what you see on the outside. Or you see somebody on stage at family reunion and they're like, hey, we did 1 billion in sales in our team. And we look at that and we go, wow. And all we're seeing is the tip of the iceberg. Do you know how much of an iceberg is above water in nature? 100%. And by the way, this is not to scale. Do me a favor, just guess. How much of an iceberg do you see in the water? You can put it in the chat since you're not going to come off mute. I'm okay with that, by the way.
10%.
No judgments. What is it?
10%.
Cindy, look at you. Of course it is. Yeah, it's 9.6. So let's round up to 10%. 10% of what we see in the world is what's above the water. So when we go look at people's businesses, when we go look at their relationships, when we look at their health, what we're seeing is just the top of it. What we're not seeing is what has driven them there. So if you've ever, how many of y'all have seen an iceberg in nature before in real life, or on a TV show or a cartoon, or you watched the movie Titanic, there was one in it. Yes. So understand that 90% of the iceberg is under the water and you cannot see. So what's driving it around this entire world is your purpose. And that's a why. See, Gary says in the one thing that if you don't know your why, find your purpose and pick a direction, because you can always change directions. It's your life. So a lot of times we compare our whys to others. How many of you have ever done that before? You hear somebody that says, hey, you know what? I'm going to start a goat farm in Uganda, and have a friend of mine that did that. And, we're going to help people. And I'm sitting here going, oh my gosh, I want a beach house. And you start judging yourself based off somebody else. And what I want us to understand, that this iceberg is your iceberg. It's got to be your purpose, your why. Because once you understand this and you have a relationship with your goals, which we're going to talk about, which is your purpose and why, your priorities are taken care of. How many of us have a challenge getting up in the morning and making choices of what we're going to do? Just raise your hand. Yeah. Well, if we truly understand our purpose, our priorities are set. We eliminate the limbs on our decision tree. And what I mean by that is we all have to make decisions every day, thousands of them. Okay. I'll give you an example. In the chat box, tell me if you know what you're going to have for dinner tonight. Just put yes or no. I want you to watch this. If you already know, if you already know, Put it in the chat box. No, yes, yes. Look at you. Some of you guys are way planned out. I love that. So what's going to happen is we're going to go at some point tonight, we're going to ask ourselves, hey, what's for dinner tonight? What are we going to have for dinner? And if we stack all these hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of decisions that we make every day, it pulls away from our energy of moving forward. When you have purpose in your business, in your health, in your wealth, your priorities are set. I love that body plan since Sunday. I like that. You're set. You don't have to make choices every day. You can just move forward and keep that energy. So the reason why I think this is such a powerful thing is once you understand your purpose, your priority is set. And then everything you see above that is productivity and profit. So a lot of times we go say, hey, listen, I want to do more. I want to make more. I want to be more productive. I want to create more profit. So we're putting a focus on the 10%. When we got to really go back, guys, and think purpose, which will guide your priorities. Purpose. How powerful is purpose? Can I just give you an example? Okay, real quickly in the chat, I know y'all probably hate the chat box. We're going to use it, okay? So do me a favor, the chat box, just give me if you can run, okay? Just give me a thumbs up in the chat box or a thumbs up on your screen or something. If you can run, say yes, no. I didn't say fast. I just said, can you run? Awesome. I love that. Now, if I told you that, hey, I want you to run as fast as you possibly can. Okay. We're going to give you a 100-yard dash. I want you to run as fast as you possibly can. And at the end of it, if you run as fast as you can, we're going to give you $1,000. That's all you got to do is run as fast as you can. How many of you think you would absolutely run the fastest time that you've ever ran at this point? Now, what if I change your purpose of running? Do you think we might be able to speed you up some? So I want you to imagine this, same 100-yard dash. There's no money at the end of it, right? And yet we're going to put a tiger behind you. Do you think you're going to run faster, yes or no? And the answer is yes, because the purpose of your running has changed. Your priorities are crystal clear. Like there is nothing that's going to stop you from running with a tiger chasing you. Well, what if you don't feel like running? You run. What if your knee hurts? You run. Well, what if you trip? You get up and you run because the purpose has changed. Does that make sense? Yes or no? Just you can put a nod. I love that. You guys are such rock stars. Let me get this out. I keep hitting the wrong button. I told you to have patience with me. Let me stop sharing. All right. So what are you hearing? Because we're just on the first one right now. Correct? And that's being powered by a big why. And if you want to spend time over the holiday getting prepared for 2024, ask yourself the question around purpose. What excites you? What do you love? What keeps you up at night? What propels you to do some things that you wouldn't normally do? You know, one of the things I think is really cool is when you write this down, if I said, hey, if I guarantee you everything you write down would happen, what would you write down? What would you write down?
All good.
Yeah, well, anything that you wanted, right? Like, hey, listen, you know what? I want to look like this. I want to feel like this. This is what I want my day to look like. This is what my vehicle looks like. This is how much I give to charity. This is the relationships I have in my life. These are the investment properties that we own. We can literally draw that out. And once we have the why behind it, that's the relationship. A goal by itself is just a number. A goal with a relationship tied to it, that's a purpose. What does it fund? So let's move to goals. Do you want to do that? Because I'll tell you right now, when we talked about goals, what was the word they used? Do we need to have small goals or big goals? Say big. Go like this, big goals. Big goals. I usually would flex my muscle, but I wore a jacket today and not a tank top.
Crazy big goals.
Yeah, big goals. Am I right, Rhonda? Big goals. So How many of you already have a goal for 2024 financially? Raise your hand. Awesome. Do me a favor. I want you to write it down somewhere. You don't need to share it with me. I just need you to write down your financial goal. Don't overthink it. Okay. Every dime that you're bringing in, I want you to, what is your financial goal for 2024? Now I've got, with technology, I can see you not writing it, just so you know. That technology will get you every time on it. So here's what's kind of cool about that. Do me a favor, on a scale of 1 to 10, how confident are you that you're going to hit that goal? Okay, cool. Like, would you bet me that amount that you'd make that amount? That if you didn't hit it, you'd have to pay somebody that amount. Okay. So I want to do something that I think is going to help you think bigger. What do you think I'm going to ask you to do to this goal?
Double it.
Ah, that's right. I'm not going to do that. I want you to write this question down underneath that number. Who do you need to become to make that amount every month? Who do you need to become to make that amount every month? Now, if we were in a room together, what would happen is you would literally hear sighs. There is disbelief right now. We don't see the possibilities of it. Did you write down a number that is not being done in our industry already? Yes or no? The answer is no. What you wrote down is already being done by somebody. So we know that it's possible. What if you missed that goal by 50%? Would it still be bigger than what you had originally written down? Yes or no? Would you have to grow and be different to obtain that goal? Yes or no? That's our opportunity. We talk about thinking bigger. See, what happens with our mind is when we say we're going to think big and we're going to write goals down, our mind can only go see what it can see at this moment. Go back. You know, how many of y'all were 8 before? Anybody ever 8? Yeah, we all were 8, right? As an 8-year-old, how big was your thinking? Well, let me ask you, did anybody as an 8-year-old go, hey, I can't wait to, I want to be average? You know, you didn't dress up for Halloween as, Captain Average, right? And I think along the way, we've been programmed and just knocked back down that it's limited what we believe is possible. We start putting the weight on ourselves. And what I want to share with you, that anything is possible. The first thing we have to do, though, is to think bigger, to set goals that maybe aren't obtainable, that we even laugh at ourselves, and then go find the models that are already doing it. I'll give you an example. Has anybody ever had a flat tire before? Okay. What did you do when you get the flat tire? I'll give you options. Okay. A, did you call somebody, change it yourself, have to go buy a new tire? Or B, did you build a tire from scratch yourself? Self-plug kit. I love that. Well, the reality of it is that the models and systems are out there to go to any production you choose in real estate. It's just that we have to have the what? We have to think big enough, and we have to take those actions around it. I want to hit on the third one for a second. Then I'm going to open it up for questions. We got about 11 minutes left. I go to experiences. And, how many of y'all have ever gone somewhere and just had a phenomenal experience? I mean, it was such a good experience that you went back and talked about it to other people. I'll give, what's really cool. I wish I had my bag with me. I did my last flight of the year last week. And when I got onto my Delta plane, they had a card sitting at my seat. And it was just saying, hey, Scott, we appreciate you being a Diamond member for the last 6 years. We love that you fly with us. We're so grateful for you. And by the way, I know that they have no idea who I am. Like the lady who wrote that card, if she would not be able to pick me out of a lineup. But what they're doing is they're working to provide an experience and make me feel a certain way that when I make a choice of an airline, I choose them. That's why they put me on the plane first. That's why they upgrade you, right? That's why they send you little bag tags that people put on their bags because they're proud of how much they're flying. I go back and I wonder, what do our customers and our clients say about us? And by the way, not just in the buying and selling process, but our entire communication process with them. What type of experience are we providing? Is it an experience that they go out and tell others about it? They're like, hey, listen, I don't know if you have a real estate agent. Justin is just amazing. I mean, this guy calls us, on our birthday. He knows our anniversary. He sends dog treats to our dogs. They may even have never even bought and sold with you before. And yet just the way that we communicate people is a part of the experience. And I go back to the simplest saying, people don't care what you say or what you do. They care and remember how you make them feel. And the feeling becomes what? The experience. Does that make sense? So real quickly, I want to open it up. You're going to have to come off of mute, but I want to hear what you're taking away so far. And I want to hear what questions that you have. And somebody, go
sorry.
ahead. No, hit it.
Hi, my name is Jennifer. I'm a fairly new real estate agent, and so I was thinking of starting out trying to get listings for a few $100,000 range, but actually everything in my area is 2 to 5 million range. So I'm thinking if I go further out and do the few hundred thousands, I feel like this is pushing me towards the $1 million listings category, even though, so I'm a bit conflicted because it seems like very uncomfortable. But then that's what's close to me. So.
Yeah. So number one, Jennifer, that's awesome. Here's what I say in my mindset around being new is you can only be new once. I would own it. I would be so excited to be new. Matter of fact, the conversations I would have would be, hey, I'm not like those agents who have been selling real estate for years who don't answer their phone. I'm new at this. I'm hungry. I'm here to serve you and sell your home. And now if I'm an experienced agent, I have a conversation I can use for that too. I just wouldn't put ceilings or limitations. The price of homes don't sell homes, people do. And whether you live in a $4 million home or a $500,000 home, they're people. And so, don't knock your ability because you're new, own being new. And you're going to find out when you're in front of enough people as a new agent and they understand that you're with the largest real estate franchise on earth, that you have the backing of a market center, and that you're hungry, you're knowledgeable about what you're doing. And if you don't have to know everything, a matter of fact, one of the greatest things you can say is, I don't know that, and I will find out. We don't always have to be right. And so, again, that's my thing. I just wouldn't put any limits. I would lead generate and I was very fortunate. I got into real estate. My broker at the time, it was with a little company, gave me the instructions of get a listing. What do I do? She said, get a listing. And I got a listing. And I said, what do I do next? And she said, get a listing. It was always the same answer. So to me, that's what we do is we lead generate until we get a listing. And then we lead generate again until we get a listing. Don't put the parameters of price. I don't think that's a big thing. And by the way, playing in the millions is a fun place to play. I hope that helps. All right, let's hit it. Jose, hit it.
So I had a question when you talked about your goal and being big enough, and you said if you did at least 50% of that, would that be more than what you're doing now? My answer was no. So does that mean I'm not thinking big enough? I'm not stretching myself?
Well, it's not a not doing thing. So if we tell somebody to, if their goal is to do $1 million in GCI, and we say, great, now what does it take to do that every single month? That would be $12 million in GCI. So if you accomplished half of that, that's 6 million.
Oh,
That would be more than your $1 million goal. Does that make sense?
yes, yes, it
If you
does.
if you accomplish 30% of it, what we want to do, one of the things that I've learned doing this for a long time is we are very now orientated, which means that we want to deal now. We want to move forward now. We want to close now. And I get that. Okay. We have to pay our bills with what we do for a living. But I also want you to look at your business 10 years from now, 20 years from now. Are we going to be so transactional that our business 10 years from now looks like it does today? Or are we going to set really big goals and go find the models that we can grow in over the next decade? Did that help, Jose?
Yeah, that was super helpful. I really appreciate that. Thank
Hey,
you.
no problem, man. I appreciate it. Daniel,
Scott.
hit it. And Karen, you're next.
Hi, Scott. Thank you. Yeah,
Hey,
just like Jennifer, I'm a new agent too. I just had my year in real estate 11 days ago. And, I did Bold at the very beginning of the year with Hudson Warren, and it was phenomenal. I believe I set my goal before Bold was 12 transactions in my first year, and after Bold it was 36. And I thought it was so funny because I was like, how the hell am I ever going to get this? And I did 8 transactions this year. I was so happy. I'm very young. I want to get into the luxury market here in Ohio, and I was very fortunate to get my very first luxury listing as my very first listing. And how I got that is, ironically enough, what you told Jennifer is, I told him, I said, I'm new. I'm not like these other realtors that don't answer the phone. And I'm very hungry and I'm very motivated, and I know I can get this house sold. I guess remembering where you come from, like you talked about, I think one thing that hit me really hard is, what's your goal in monetary, and what do I need to do that each month? And I think that really just hit home. So that was a very good takeaway. So thank you.
No, I love that. And you're in Columbus. Is that correct? That area?
Yes, sir.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, there's a lot of great, y'all got huge growth going on right now in your area
Yep.
too. A lot of
Yep.
cool things happening in Columbus. Yeah, well, I believe that. I mean, whether you're new, whether you're experienced, we talk about E to P. Do y'all remember E to P? If you've ever read the 6 Personal Perspectives, they have E to P, which is entrepreneurial to purposeful. And I think sometimes we think entrepreneurial is the bad. It's not. That's your drive, right? Your spontaneity, what you do naturally well. In the beginning, everybody has to be entrepreneurial. Okay. My first listing, I showed up in Crocs and cargo shorts. I had 4 sheets of paper. The home was $53,000. I had no idea what I was doing. I came back 4 times to get them to sign the contract the right way. Okay. That was my first listing. It was 9 days after I got my real estate license. I had no idea what I was doing, but they listed with me because of that, because I was excited. I was enthusiastic. I was, driven. I was so grateful to be there. Now you go to my 500th listing. Was it different? Well, of course it was. I had time to get better. So I'm just telling you, people are out there. You don't new experience, whatever it is, that part's important. And then at some point you'll hit a ceiling of achievement. Then you got to start being purposeful. So I love that. All right, Karen, go ahead. You're on mute.
So I've been licensed almost 19 years, and I've had my ups and downs, but I've been basically a multi-million-dollar producer, never a mega agent. Long way to go before that. The last 3.5 years, I've been very tied up with my family. I'm 64. My mother died, my little sister, my dog, and just in November, my dad. And so I've been totally consumed with family. And thank God, because of my prior business, I've been doing business with all repeat and referral business. I've totally neglected my database. But now that it was time for my dad to go, I'm very sad about it, but I'm very excited about having my life back. And I just got a call from a client from 11 years ago that I sold him and his wife a very nice house, and I had a listing appointment with him for $2 million, and he said he's not talking to anybody else, and that's even after not talking to them for years. So just for the newbies out there, just keep plugging away and it all comes back. But I'm facing, I'm 64 and I'm trying to get that enthusiasm you're talking about. I've never given up, even during the really tough times. It just never gave up because I couldn't. And thank God it gave me the flexibility to be able to be there for my family. So very thankful for that, but I'm really looking to dive in, but mindset is holding me back.
Yep.
And I've got my why, but it's relatively a small why, and I need to make it bigger, but limited by 64. And
Yeah.
I just need,
Well, number one, I'm sorry for your loss. That is tough. And the second thing on 64, I read something this morning. Do you know what the medium age is in real estate right now?
I know it tends to be older because that's what you do when you have nothing else to do. And they don't really
it's
make a lot of
60.
money, I think.
It's 60. And do you know Mo Anderson?
Yeah, well, I know of her. I haven't met her.
Okay. Do you know when Mo became the CEO of Keller Williams?
60.
At the age of 58. She was broke, became the CEO of our company at the age of 58. She's 84 now and a multimillionaire.
Wow.
Age is only perceived.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And not by anybody else, by us.
I know.
Okay. Yep. So yeah, here's what I would do. And one thing you said, I'm going to coach you a second. Don't judge your why. It doesn't matter if it's small or it's big to anybody else. If it's yours, it's yours. Like, it doesn't, like, it doesn't matter what you think that my why should be. Okay. It's got to be my why. It can be small. We say that it's just got to be yours. It's not small or big. It's yours. Okay. That's what propels us. It can't be anybody else's. So I know you got this, and you're right. I would look at 64 and say, you know what? I'm going to help the baby boomers who are about to have the largest sell-off of real estate, the greatest amount of wealth. You're in that category.
That's my niche. That's always been my niche.
So I think the opportunity is huge for you. So I would turn it around and say, oh my gosh, I bet everybody wishes they were 64.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Andrew, how are you doing, young man? And then
Good,
we'll
sir.
do the last one. Good to see you, buddy.
You too, sir. I just want to say a huge shout out and thank you to you. You really primed the pump and put me in the right spot. So guys, anytime you have a chance to learn from Scott and check in and motivate yourself and set goals, please put yourself in his world. So thank you, sir.
Oh, and that's really nice of you to say, but let's be real. That's 99.9% him. And you talk about somebody that has a big why, a purpose. Andrew does. He has a purpose of why he does things that are hard. Be around him for a minute and you want to help him with his purpose. Am I right? So I love that, Andrew. That's awesome. Bruce, last one, buddy. Nope.
Sorry about that. I had to unmute myself. Hi, good afternoon.
Okay, Bruce.
So I wanted to make a comment and then ask a question, please.
Sure, buddy.
So the comment first is like for newer agents. So this is my first year with KW, but I've been an agent for a while. I just made the switch.
Sure.
And with my first ever brokerage, I had a lot of concerns about like, if I'm new, maybe buyers won't want to work with me, or if I'm new, maybe a seller wouldn't want to list with me. And I brought that up with my broker like on day one, and I really went through all of my concerns about that. And it was a 2-broker system, and she had been in the business for 25 years. Her husband had been in the business for 25 years. And she said, you know, you can really kind of dance in the rain with this because people like the new energy of new agents. And you can also let them know that maybe you're new. Maybe you don't have a ton of experience, but the brokerage that you're at is world renowned, and the brokers that you're working under have a combined 50 years of experience. So holy cow, are you well directed? And so, you know, I just sort of used that in my lingo for the first year, the first couple of years. So just wanted to throw that out there for anybody that's new. Man, maybe you're new, maybe you have some questions or need a little bit of directives, but utilize the people that came before you, utilize your leadership, and don't be afraid to tell your clientele, like, hey, where I come up a little bit short, man, I've got this great guy, Scott, that is the broker of the office, and he's real accessible, and he answers all questions very adequately, and directs me well. So I would say dance in the rain with your newness and utilize your resources well.
Yep. I love that. That's a perfect way to put it, Bruce. I mean, I
That was
really
my that was my comment, and I wanted to ask a question. So you were talking about like powerful whys, right?
Yep.
So I'm a married guy. I got like a couple of rugrat kids running around that I got to pay for them, right? So that's like a powerful why for me. And my dad is like was like an old school guy, real rough around the edges, and he always felt like, no offense to any of the ladies, I love women, but dad always like taught me that to like be a real man, you're supposed to be a provider, and I'm kind of like working through that in my mind because my wife has made like more money than me for the last like couple of years, and I don't mind that. I'm happy for her that she is, that she's doing well. But I would like to, not necessarily to appease my dad, but just to appease me and be a better provider. I'd like to get back to making decent money again, and I just like when I'm not making good money. I still love my kids. I still feel like I'm a good father, and I feel like I share everything that I have, but I'm just not able to financially provide at the level that I want to provide at, due to hiccups in the market and due to me losing deals or just some bad luck or whatever the case may be. So how do you kind of keep somebody, like, after hearing me rant a little bit, how do you kind of keep somebody on track with their powerful why? We don't stop loving our kids. How do we focus on the task at hand?
Well, I think it's Bruce, very simple, and I trust you'll take this the right way in a coaching point. This is not just for you; this is for anybody. Our business is simple; it's just not easy. And the simplicity of it is that we have a very, very, very simple job description. Okay, so like when I ask people what our job description is in real estate, most of the time people do not know what their job description is. And so I can make it super simple. Number one, lead generate. Okay. If there's a day that goes by, I want you to imagine this, Bruce. Imagine you had a restaurant. Has anybody been in the restaurant business besides me? Okay. Let's say you had a restaurant. You're all excited. You own the restaurant. You have your staff there. Food's being cooked in the back. You open up at 9 o'clock in the morning. You close 9 o'clock at night. You open the door and nobody comes in that day. Not one person. To me, that is a day in real estate without setting an appointment. Like you have a very simple task, is to lead generate until you get an appointment. Because our job description is lead generate, lead follow up, go on appointments, negotiate contracts, and then practice and role play. Everything else we're doing in real estate is a distraction from our job. Now, hear my passion, okay? Lead generate, when I say that, I know what conjures up in your mind. You're thinking, oh my gosh, it's gonna be like the boiler room. I got to get on the phone and call. That is one form of lead generation. Okay. To me, Gary was asked at Mega Camp one time, what do you consider lead generation? And his answer was perfect. Anything that generates a lead. Anything that generates a lead. So when we look at this, Bruce, what I would tell somebody, anybody, including myself, to make more money means I have to create more leads. I don't have to get more knowledgeable. I don't say that. Let me be careful. What I have to do, you can be bad at a lot of things if you can lead generate. It's amazing to me. You can really stink at a lot of things, but you can be great at giving a listing presentation and never go give one. And so that's what I look at, Bruce, is how many days of the year are you planning on doing our job? Because if we're doing it, one day out of the week and we're getting an outcome and want a different outcome, then we're going to have to do it more days of the week. And then over time, we got to become better at it also. But in the beginning, it's just that. It's, okay, am I doing my job today? I used to tell my wife and hey, I'm going into work, and I'd come home and she'd ask me, hey, did you lead generate today? And I go, no. Did you lead follow up? No. So basically all I did was leave my house and go to a building, do a bunch of stuff that made me no money, and then leave. And you can't have a lot of that, like we're busy. I just, the restaurant thing helps me. Day without an appointment is a day somebody not walking in that door. And I just can't afford not to have a lot of days without appointments. So Bruce, I trust that helps.
Yeah, thanks so much.
Yeah, buddy. Hey, listen, guys, I so appreciate your time. I know we went a little bit over. I want you to go have a phenomenal holiday. Really enjoy this time. Be with family, be with friends, whatever you want to do. Go ski. I mean, whatever the fun things are. But I'm very grateful for this time. If I can ever help, my name is Scott Toombs. You can find me. I love what we do. Just feel free to reach out, and I love to talk real estate. I appreciate y'all. Y'all go kill it. Thanks, guys.